We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insight, new style, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Monday, March 31st here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching a brand new week on News Generation. Joining us today is Ki Kim.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And Niall Song.
Good to be back.
Good to have you back. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So today on News Gen, we're blending two of our major themes, which is what's trending among younger generations and the global appeal of Korean culture. As more millennials and Gen Z step into parenthood, we're turning the spotlight on parenting today. For example, what it's really like raising a child in Korea from day one. And lucky for us, both of our panelists today are actually walking the walk. So starting with you, Niall, you recently joined the Mom Club. Once again,
right.
Congratulations.
I did.
I want to ask you, how has your life changed after the birth of your son?
You know, I feel like most people answer this question with a very intense nod, like, yes, it did change. But I want to point out that I'm still me. I just have to multitask a little better, have a little better teamwork with my husband. I mean, I still have a job in the media, which I'm so grateful for, but maybe I just can't grab that cup of coffee. I just have to dash right on home afterwards. And you know what? Yesterday, I went to a G-Dragon concert.
Really?
So I am still young. I'm just a little more tired.
So you're still you?
I am still me.
And now to Yuki, you've been a dad for about 6 years now. So I also want to ask you, can you relate to what Niall just shared with us? And how has life been for you for the past 6 years?
Well, yes and no. I'm still me, yes, but literally everything has changed for me. No more game titles, no more shiny shoes or clothes, or fancy wine, of course. And the way I lead my life and what to focus, everything has changed. Of course, I seek for more work, for more money. But more than that, I try to spend more time with my kids. I try not to do any work unless it's absolutely necessary for the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. And many of my work and daily routine revolve around my son. Also, it's time to think of the kids' education, what to teach and where to take them. Lots to think about and feel more responsible.
So a lot to think about as your child gets older, right?
Exactly.
So many here say when a baby enters your life, your world turns literally upside down because your routines change, your shopping list changes, and suddenly it's all about pacifiers, baby bottles, and diaper duty. And so speaking of baby gear right now, Korean baby care products have been making a big splash overseas. So we're going to first talk about that. So Ki, how big is this K-baby item boom overseas?
I mean, K-wave is, first of all over the world, and everything we do on the TV shows, variety shows, dramas, or movies. Although some of them are just fictional, they're getting popular all over the world. And as for the baby formula, if you take a look at the screen now, baby formula produced in Korea had the highest sales record in the Southeast Asian region last year, rising threefold from a decade ago. They're especially popular in Cambodia and Vietnam. They're quite smart in their marketing strategy as they localize the brand and substances so they can sell better in those regions.
So Korean baby formulas have gone big in Southeast Asia. Niall, I also want to ask you, what other baby items from Korea are popular and specifically in which regions?
Do you guys know the word podegi?
Of course we know.
Your grandma would put you on her back and kind of wrap you with this giant cloth with a kind of a wrapping thing around it. And it's the Korean baby carrier. And it's been in use for over a decade and it gained international popularity with some foreign markets and even adopting the Korean term podegi itself. And the export of Korean baby products has been growing since 2010s, and it's actually gone 4 times more since 2019 to 2022. And you know the shows like Dr. Oh Eun-young's parenting shows, it's popular in Korea but also abroad, and they're available on many different OTT platforms and giving us a lot of information we need on parenting.
So it's not just baby essentials but also content related to babies and children.
Exactly.
And both of you as parents, I'm sure that you've used a bunch of baby essentials that were made in Korea. So I also want to ask you, were there any items that stood out to you or kind of became your favorite?
Okay, so you have a baby, right? Then you need every possible item out there. Literally, I mean, everything. So Niall's going to tell us the wisdom, a long-standing truth, pretty soon. But when you play any sort of computer or console or smartphone game, you have a more chance of winning when you have a bunch of different items. And items are normally much stronger if they're purchased or if it's high value. And one of the things that helped me most was the baby formula dispenser that automatically dispenses the baby formula with the right amount at the right temperature. For example, if you want to feed your baby about 200 grams of baby formula milk at 2 a.m. in the morning, all you need to do is just put the baby bottle and press a single button. Then the machine does the rest. Because my son woke up exactly every 2 hours a day. And that machine really helped me in those days. And also another thing that helped me was a foldable diaper changing table. Normally you wouldn't fold it because you have to change the diaper every half an hour or so. But the height of the table is adjustable, and you can have a baby lie down, have a belt on the baby so that the baby wouldn't fall or move. And you can just easily change the diaper without bending your waist, so which helps you stay straight all the time. And I also bought a double-lid garbage can just for the used diapers for the inner piece of the house, if you know what I mean, for better smell, of course, harmony. And more books, more toys, more items always help.
I mean, those items that you mentioned all sound really life-changing because before parents all had to do it manually, which was a big struggle for them.
You have to put the mercury inside to check the right temperature to see make sure it's not too hot, and then you use the small spoons to get the right amount, and those are rough ones.
I see. Then what about you, Nai? What's your favorite baby essential?
You know, actually, Ki mentioned the concept of different items in games, and there's a saying in Korea, it's 육아는 템빨이다, which means the more items you have, the better game you'll have in child raising. For me personally, being a first-time mom, knowing how to hold the baby in the beginning, it's quite difficult because they don't know how to hold themselves
Yeah, it's really hard.
They're very wobbly. So this thing called what is it? A nursing seat. In Korean, it's called suyu seat. You put the baby, and it's like a cardboard almost texture, which is covered in a towel-like cloth, and the baby rests on it, and you feed the baby on the long board, and so the baby doesn't wiggle as much. And I ended up with so many knots on my back in the beginning, but I wish I'd have done this a little bit sooner.
Wow, that item also seems a great item to especially new moms.
And it's quite affordable as well. It's around 20,000 Korean won.
Oh, very interesting. So we also asked our viewers what the most essential item is needed for looking after a baby, and we're going to take a look at 3 of their responses. Our first comment for this Monday is by Benny D97, a baby bottle sterilizer because I want our babies to be safe and healthy when they grow up, plus a tablet to play nursery rhymes. GKSKO990 says a nasal aspirator because babies can't blow their noses independently, and a podegi that keeps your hands free and your baby happy. Yay88 says not necessarily an item, but I've met so many people praising postpartum care centers as heaven for moms. I love to experience it when I have a child. All right, so after the break, we'll be joined by a millennial mom from the United States who is raising 2 kids here in Korea. We'll be right back.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang.News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Welcome back. We're thrilled to welcome Jem Kozak, an American millennial mom of 2, raising her kids in Korea. Great to see you back on the show, Jem.
Hi there. Nice to see you.
Morning. So, Jem, could you first tell us about your experience with Korean baby products, which is what we've been discussing until now, and please tell us your favorites.
Oh, yes. Well, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what product. I totally agree about the podegi, one of the most useful things you'll have. But one thing that wasn't mentioned was I really love a lot of the Korean rice snacks offered for kids. Now, they have lots of really healthy rice snacks for kids, sweet potato flavored, broccoli flavored, and even though they don't sound appetizing, you know, they're really healthy and delicious. Even I like them. They make these kind of yogurt pellets for kids. So they're really great emergency food for your babies or your toddlers. And they're also good for parents too, if you need a quick fix or your baby's crying and hand them a snack. So these are actually some of my favorite Korean products.
Thank you. I think you're referring to tteokbong, if I used to feed them to my kids
yes,
as well.
absolutely.
So the parenting styles can be very different depending on where you're from. So what's your take on how Korean parents raise their kids?
Oh, yeah. I would say, well, I'm from the USA, as you mentioned, and we definitely focus a lot on kids being independent, right? And so my husband is Korean, and he used to joke about how even when our baby was 18 months old, I told her, feed yourself. And he used to laugh, she's a baby. But I'm like, well, she can use her hands. So he was really shocked that even from that age, I was kind of pushing her to feed herself. So I think pushing the independence a little bit more from a younger age. So now that same daughter is 8 years old, and I'm making her do everything, every kind of chore. Now he likes it, so I guess kind of pushing kids to kind of take care of themselves in a way.
Okay, for the last question, do you think there's any aspects of the Korean parenting culture, like the ones you just mentioned, whether it's baby care or family routines, and maybe it'll expand globally?
Well, just like one of the commenters said at last one, I'm so in love with the care centers. Yes, I'm hoping that if this spreads around the world, I think it would be really, really popular after giving birth. You kind of go to one of these care centers, you're pampered, and after giving birth, you really need that kind of rest. So I think if they're available, people like new moms, they would love this kind of service. So I think that would really catch on.
All right, Jem, thank you so much for your time today and hope you have a great start to a new week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're now going to zoom out and talk about early motherhood and parenting culture in Korea more broadly. So starting off, as a parent, what unique aspects stood out besides the ones that Jem and our panelists mentioned?
Yeah, I think it's the amount of information that we share with each other and the best baby products. So everybody has the top 3 ones. So if I go over to a friend's house, she's likely to have the exact same body pillow, the diaper changing station, and the formula maker that he mentioned. And I think it's so great that everyone's sharing this information, and you can kind of have that communal aspect of it.
Right.
And adding on to that, this is a recent discovery for me. It's a toy rental shop. It's in different regions in Korea. You pay a membership. It's pretty cheap. I think I've heard somebody saying that maybe 20,000 Korean won per
affordable.
year. Yeah, a little bit more expensive for me, but it was still great. That's my son right there, and he loves the toy. You can get the toys that you can ride, that you can play with, the books, and they're sterilized regularly. So I personally love it, and I highly recommend it for people who kind of get stressed about buying things and then having to get rid of them and taking up space in your home. So this way the pressure's off.
Right, because you can return these toys after you use them, right?
Exactly.
Oh, then what could be some other aspects of Korea's parenting culture that you found interesting, Ki?
Well, education is quite fierce in Korea, and many kids start at quite young age. So my son also started home visiting Korean or math class, or it's more like an arithmetic session when he was 4.5-year-old. And many of the playing kits that's relatable to education, because many parents believe forming the right mind and social value in early childhood are quite important. There are many premium, or even we could say luxurious brand out there for the baby care products, and they're costly. For example, we let the kids do the 촉감놀이, that's what we call it, where babies just touch and play so they can move around their hands and enhance their finger muscle movement, and let them feel the texture of the things around them. And we normally use something small and soft, and many of them would use grain of rice. It's just simple. You put it on the clogs, and then you just play with it. But for that, now they have this premium version, small wooden blocks made of cypress tree, and they say it's safer, smells better, shape is better for the kids and all, but it's way more expensive. So, for example, a 5-kilogram bag of this wooden block dog is worth $50. So with kids getting rare nowadays with low birth rate, more aunts and uncles, grandparents, and their wallets are about to get thinner because, they want to buy things for their favorite nieces or nephews or grandchildren. So exactly that's what you're going to be doing for Niall's son. And
Thank you.
Okay, that was my pleasure. Because I'm not a parent, so all of these items and these tools sound so new to me. I'm so surprised how advanced they are.
Exactly.
It's a whole new world.
It is indeed a whole new world. So wrapping up our discussion today, we're going to take out the crystal ball and make some predictions. What kind of changes or trends do you think we'll get to see in the future of parenting?
I mean, we've been talking about items all day, but I do think that there's just going to be more and more, and it's inevitable because the generation before us living near the grandparents or kind of in a communal society and the neighborhood was a little more open. I think that was the parenting style of the older generation, but with both parents working a lot of times and I think being busy so often, we need to really, really increase the efficiency of our parenting styles. So a lot of these technologies playing into parenting.
And I think that definitely more smarter technologies will be incorporated in baby items, right, Ki?
Exactly. So when you go to a baby care related exhibition, now more and more advanced technology, especially AI, is playing and they're stepping in. A small robot-like, friendly looking machine with the wheels. They run around the house and they check the kid. It has a camera inside and also a thermal sensor installed inside, so you can check the baby's status in real time, even if the parent isn't necessarily in the same room.
It's like the second parent.
Exactly. So, for example, you're doing the dishwashing and then your kid's inside inside the room alone, then you can actually in real time look at your smartphone and then see what your kid is doing. And they would look for the symptoms and send a message to the parents and tell them what to do on internet. And then the machine would show the videos, read books for the kid, or play a game with the baby. So the machine is becoming an ultimate assistant. It's going to get much easier, but one thing we all have to remember is that the best thing for the kid is just spending more time with them personally.
Definitely spending time with your children as much as you can. And that's all we have for today's episode of News Generation, but we will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks to Ki Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Niall Song.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you for starting off your week with us, and stay tuned for more exciting topics we have throughout this week. And we'll see you back here tomorrow in April. We are
News Generation.